Hey, what's up? Jules here, aka 8 Bulls, and today we're going to focus on the general aspect of playing a support champ in League of Legends and things you want to do and try out to see what kind of support you want to be or what you'll be best with. So step 1. The first thing you want to do is pick a supporting champ that complements the ADC you will be supporting. How do you look for this exactly? Well, first, let's break down the supports into 3 main classes. You have your healers, your tanks, and what I'm going to call your utility supports. Now, healers, they're rather obvious. They're the ones who are going to stay behind the ADC and keep them alive by healing them whenever they need it. Very straightforward and possibly the easiest support type to play. Follow the recommended build and there's no reason you really should mess up. Next, you got your tanks. This is where it gets a bit tougher gameplay-wise. Your job is to keep the ADC alive by soaking as much damage as possible without costing your own life. You need to find out early enough if you have an aggressive ADC or a defensive. Typically, if you just ask them, they'll tell you. But we'll have more on this in the tank support specific video. And finally, we have the utility supports. I call them this because they don't really fit into any of the other categories. They're squishy and they don't heal, but instead, they have spells that make them useful for supports. Step 2. Once you've selected your role, and presumably your champion, you need to look into the masteries. Now, I won't be going into detail on this because the masteries are often subject to change, and I want this video to be as relevant for as long as possible. If you're a healer, look into masteries that improve your mana replenishment and healing capabilities. It's pretty straightforward. As a tank, you want someone who has basic defenses as early as possible. So invest your masteries into armor, magic resistance, and health. Now, as a utility support, it gets tricky for masteries. Utility champs are a very vague term for champs with different abilities. So you have to watch what the champ does. For instance, if your champ can stun, then you want to have masteries that can capitalize on this. Movement speed, cooldown reduction, and mana regen are wonderful choices. But let's say your champ hooks or pulls someone instead. Then you might want to think a bit differently. Let's say cooldown reduction, armor/magic reduction, and movement speed, they're pretty good choices. You really just have to think about your support style specifically before you build your mastery tree. And don't only just have one, build several that suit you. Step 3. Initially buying items. As a support main, I can say this much. Not every recommended build is the best choice. Remember how you want to play, how your ADC wants to play, and what items would be most beneficial to you and your partner. Currently we have gold income items, but that could change in the future. Right now these gold income items are best suited to the 3 classes I previously mentioned. You have a relic shield for your tank, an ancient coin for healers, and spell thieves edge for utility. Relic shield will give you gold for every minion that dies around you. It will also create charges that once used, will execute a minion below a certain amount of health and give both you and your ADC the same amount of gold and a portion of health as well. This is an incredible benefit to use when chasing or defending. The ancient coin will give you a good sum of gold for every minion killed in the area, as well as a small amount of health, but not to your ADC. After all, that's why you're the healer. Spell Thieves Edge will give you 10 gold every time you hit an enemy champion or building up to 3 times. The charge will replenish in 30 seconds. However, if you kill a minion, this item is disabled for 12 seconds. This encourages you to give the kills to your ADC and discourages any roll from using the item. All of these items can be upgraded numerous amounts of times and can even be combined with Sight Stones as an option. If you choose to upgrade it without the Sight Stone, it will increase its use. However, you take up 2 item slots, and to me, that's just a sin. Step 4. Laning. This is going to be rather brief, because I'm going to be avoiding specifics. I'm going to be creating more videos based off 3 specific classes at a later date. But, in general, as a support, if you aren't there to harass your enemy away from the minion battle, then you are always going to be moving behind the line of minions, never taking damage unless chasing or initiating, and generally being in the best shape you can in case you do need to chase and initiate. When you get to around 800 gold, you're going to want to base and buy yourself a Sight Stone. These will be imperative to your victory. They allow you to see around the map when you aren't there. After all, knowledge is power. Drop one in the bush in the river, and that way you can see enemy junglers coming before they get to you, giving you enough time to run or prepare. Step 5. Playing the rest of the game. In general, you always want to be there for your team, not just for your ADC. So you don't need to follow only them around. After all, there's 3 more people whose lives you can make that much easier. You should always group up and never stray too far unless you're warding the dragon and the baron. Be friendly, be helpful, and remember, you are just as important as anyone else on the team. You may not get the glorious kills, but if you weren't there, there's a good chance your ADC won't get any kills at all. You really are the difference between a good game and a bad one. Well, that's all for this video. Keep an eye open for the class-specific support videos I'm going to be posting in the future. Also, if you have any champs you think could be a support but you're too afraid to try them, let me know and I'll see if it works. For more videos that I know you'll enjoy, go check out our friends at Sequence 11. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more great videos.